Hi guys, it's Stephanie. It's June 2nd and it's Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing good. I am fine. I'm a little tired. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers for making my channel a possibility. And if you're new visiting my channel and you're not a member, hit that subscribe key and hit that top bell for future notifications of my uploads, and smash that like button. Okay, so today's conversation is going to be along the lines of the recent decisions of Governor Ron Desantis' actions to go ahead and ban trans women or girls or teenagers from entering girls' sports. I'll be right back. All right, so we're back again. Okay, so the topic I want to discuss today is very sensitive of nature. It's a hot topic and it's been in the public media now for quite a while. Before it used to be trans people using the restrooms. Trans people wearing the proper attire in school. And what's been around the corner to these is transgender participating in girls' sports. Okay? It's been an ongoing discussion in the media because parents of transgender have become the focal point right from the get-go, defending their trans kids from being banned from participating with other girls, okay, meaning cisgender girls. Okay, so let me begin by telling you a little bit about myself. Most of my younger years, I was a cisgender male. So therefore, I hardly, if at all, played sports with other girls, okay? Most of the sports I played when I was young was with boys, but it was not an organized sport like in school or a church or a college. They were street ball games, either touch football, soccer, basketball, and baseball. Not affiliated with any school, organization, or church for that matter, or religion. Just with friends playing football or basketball, okay? Mainly with boys. When I was in high school, I never had any desire to play sports because that was around the time I started struggling with my gender identity and I became a recluse, okay? I had no interest in playing sports. However, today it's changed. The reason why it's changed is because a lot of younger transgender teens have come out a lot sooner and their parents are more supportive than they were when I came out or would have liked to come out. Even when I came out in my later years, I didn't get the support that I wish I could have from some members of my family, okay? So today's transgender teens are getting more support from their parents and their friends than ever because of education, because it's so transparent in the internet. They can learn more about it, they can read more about it. And there's quite a few of celebrities now who are trans that were not known to us. And they've also come out as being trans. Okay? So, that being said, I remember when I was in school, okay, boys and girls played together. Okay, whether it was basketball in high school, or soccer, or we had like little track games going on where you run around and play tag, or relay, track racing, relay. There wasn't a problem back in the 70s when cisgender boys and girls could play together in a schoolyard or in a gym because we're all students, okay? And today, because you have, in high school you have different schools challenging other schools. This is where Ron DeSantis is saying that trans children or trans teens cannot participate with other girls in the girls' team as a transgender person, okay? Specifically, this is supposed to be for cisgender women or girls, can only be in the girls' teams, okay? I remember when I was young, I remember playing side by side with other girls in gym class where the boys and girls will be racing, and there were girls who ran faster than me. There were some girls who were more aggressive than me. Okay? Today it's all changed. It's not the same anymore. Okay? I don't agree or disagree with Ron DeSantis with what he's doing. Why? Because you have to look at it this way. A transgender person, when they first come out, whether male or female, they're not under any hormone suppressants. Okay? Why? Because number one, it's expensive, and some health insurance will not assist them with these. Okay? And a lot of younger trans people today want to be called the opposite gender or dressed like the opposite gender, and they're not really going on any hormones at all. For instance, the trans boys are just cutting their hair short and they're wearing male's clothing, and they're identifying as a male, okay, without any assistance from hormones, okay. Now, some trans girls are doing the same thing up until the time that they're working and whether their parents accept them or not. Okay, so let's get right to the point of Ron DeSantis' decision. Okay, he said that in his state, it's never going to happen that a boy will play in a girls' team, whether soccer team, whether basketball, track and field. They will not participate. The first mistake he did was he did not identify a trans person with the correct pronoun. He went right to the source and said, boys are not going to do this. When he said this, all the young ladies that were standing behind him felt empowered by that remark. Because as you can see the video, they all came to the podium and started saying, it's not fair they're playing in our sports, the boys. Boys this, boys that, boys this, boys that. They were not showing any respect at all to the transgender individuals, whether they are boys or girls who are transitioning. That was a total blunt disrespect. And when the parents came up to talk behind their daughters, they did the same thing. That's Florida. Okay? That in itself is telling me that it's not so much about being competitive because the boys will always win because they're faster or they're stronger, for which they were implying, because of their first speech when they said boys instead of trans girls, which would have been more respectful, because you want to show that you want to differentiate to the audience or the viewers. But they went right and said boys, that they were going to go by whatever their birth card says, their birth gender. So automatically they okayed it for them to go ahead and identify them right as boys. That's number one problem that they did. What they did there was they gave all of Florida permission to disrespect us. That's what they did on that simple, less than 5-minute conversation when they were saying that this is the way it's going to be. And he probably went and signed some kind of bill or whatever to make this legal, but they couldn't do that. If their plight or if their complaint was more legit or more honest, they could have said, my daughter or we, the teams, don't feel like it's fair for us. We feel like they're going to win because they were born as males. We don't think it's going to be fair. There wasn't a genuine show or genuine evidence that this is just based on competitive of the sport, that they were going to get beat or the boys can run faster or they were stronger. What does strength have to do in any girl sport to begin with? Are they powerlifting? Are they wrestling? Are they boxing? Okay? I must say there is some aspect that I agree, and where I agree is I don't think that trans women should fight with another woman, cis woman, in a UFC fighting sports or boxing sport or contact karate sport. Because after what I witnessed, a woman being polarized by a trans woman, that told me enough. Okay? So, this is where I think Ron DeSantis and his team and all those girls and moms that are there should have been more they should have conveyed it more and be more specific about which sports. If it was contact karate or contact wrestling, I would agree. But baseball, basketball, track, I just said a little while ago, I remember when I was in school, in preschool, I remember when I was in grade school that another girl named Rita, she was so much faster than me. I was considered the fastest boy in my grade or at my level, at my age. And then to run up against this young lady who was really fast, you know? She had determination, she had the strength in her legs to run. Okay? They're not looking at this. They're not looking at their childhood, because if they looked at their childhood, Ron DeSantis and all these moms and dads, if they looked at their childhood and if they were honest, they would say simply, there were a couple of girls who were faster than men and boys in college and in high school and grade school, junior high. They're not being transparent. There's some feelings that this is prejudice and fear-based. And some religious connection to the families and parents. You know, they talked about not being fair, but they weren't very specific. What sports can they play then? Because honestly, as a trans woman, if I was a trans teenage grown up today as a trans teen, I may want to play in the girls team because I am a girl. I am female. Not because I want to polarize the other team, or because I want to hurt them or embarrass them or run faster than them. I'm going to be competitive. I'm going to show my competitive spirit. Okay? But because of competitiveness is why I will do the best I can, because that's how they do it. That's how come this young lady, when I was growing up, was faster than me. She wanted to win, so she won. She beat me. Some issues that were not discussed that would have made a difference, and because they were not discussed, is education. They did not educate themselves or the parents or the girls who are involved in these sports about being a transgender, okay? The protocols that they have to follow with the testosterone and the spironolactone that they have to take to suppress the testosterone. They didn't talk about the different stages of puberty that affects both women and men when they were going through puberty. They didn't discuss the body changes when a young woman at the age of 13, because they do go through puberty and mature a year or so quicker than boys do. They didn't discuss the effects of all that stuff. Okay? You know, Jazz Jennings is a transsexual woman. Okay? She had her surgery, I think, when she was 19 or 18. Did you know that Jazz Jennings' body has never experienced testosterone? As soon as she turned 13, just about when she was to go into puberty, okay, with the assistance of doctors and therapists, she successfully began her transition legally by taking the proper medications such as the estradiol or estrogens and the blockers, okay? Because her body never experienced the changes that otherwise a boy would, that means that her bone density is just the same density as other cisgender girls. Her body makeup and her muscle tone is just the same as other cisgender girls. Why? Because testosterone was never introduced when she was 13 as a boy. So her body, her facial features, her characteristics never went to the next level of puberty, where she would have experienced the deepening of the voice, the muscle toning, the astuteness, the way they carry themselves. Never. Because she came out when she was a little boy. Okay? So how can you tell her and others like her that want to participate in sports that they can't because it's not going to be fair? So this touches upon the fact that education regarding trans people and what they go through to transition is not being found out about or learned, or them looking into it to be sure they're being fair. Okay? This is why I'm saying that it's not about competitiveness with them. It's not because they're afraid that they're going to lose. It's not because of fairness. It's fear-based and it's prejudice-based. This whole concoction scheme. There are more people behind Ron Santos that's pushing for this to happen. What would happen if Ron DeSantis' own children come out as being transgender at this age, that they are young, and they want to play in sports? What if those young moms who still want to have children, and then they have a baby who later on becomes a trans person? What do you tell that child? I'm not agreeing with or against. I'm simply shedding light on this matter because it's not being done correctly. It's done with haste, fear, and prejudice. Okay? And this, in hindsight, could lead to more things in the future for us transgender people that can affect us. There'll be other things that they'll be complaining about that they don't feel comfortable about. That they're going to say, no, you can't do that. Okay? Let's discuss late onset transsexualism. I am a late onset transsexualism because anything past 21 years old that you transition, you have already gone through puberty where your body's bombarded by testosterone that catapults you into a young adulthood as a male or a young man. Okay? That pushes you into that area where you start developing facial features, muscle tone, attitude, okay, as a man, by what society thinks makes us as a man and makes us a man. Okay. Late onset transsexuals should not. That means college level students who are trans should not get involved in wrestling with another woman in a girls' team if the one exists. Okay. But they can play tennis. They can be competitive tennis players. Okay. Maybe late onset transsexual in their 20s students maybe should not be, my opinion, in basketball or weightlifting championships or weightlifting teams. I'll tell you why. Because your body has already been open to testosterone past that puberty stage up until you were 21, is because any training that you did as a boy or any muscle tone you had as a boy, the muscle has memory, and that muscle tone can come back just as it was when your body was developing testosterone. Okay, I'm a witness to that. Okay, you'll have certain muscle tones that will never go away. Furthermore, your bone density cannot change with testosterone. Your bone density as a trans woman past 21 years, if you transition after 21 or came out after 21, your bone density will not change. Hormones cannot change bone density. Okay, why? A lot of trans women undergo facial feminization to do what? To change their facial structure, to change the bones in their face because they're masculine. Those things were caused by the introduction of testosterone when you started going through puberty. Okay, like the brow bossing, the square jaw, okay, a more pronounced male features. Those are pushed on by the testosterone at the start of puberty up until you're 18. At the age of 18, it starts, your testosterone starts to decline as a young man. Okay, at 18, it's considered the peak, and then it goes downward. This is why I say that if you transition past the age of 21 or at that time, okay, I would caution against getting involved in sports where you're in a women's team because you're a woman now. You will dominate the other team because you will be stronger. You can be faster, but not necessarily. Okay, So these are the things that they didn't look at. These are the things that they didn't do before Ron DeSantis got up on that podium and act like John Wayne and tell the whole world pretty much that trans women, in his case boys, cannot join women's or girls' teams in sports because of fairness. It's not about fairness, okay? It's not because trans people are not women, because we are. It's because fear and prejudice, okay? And it's true unfairness on their behalf. They could have done so much more for society if they took the time to really conduct real science. Real science is not bigotry. Real science is not saying, oh, well, you know, God says this is you cannot do this because God is against this. Oh, real science is not saying, well, you can't play because your birth certificate says you were a male and that's all the science we need. It's not science. Science is looking at the effects of hormone during puberty, before puberty, and the effects of it, like Jazz Jennings' case. Her body has never experienced, okay, testosterone at all. She began her HRT, hormone replacement therapy, at 13 years old. That's when the body, her body, a woman's body, or anybody, will start to develop from going into puberty. She never experienced that. And there's there's thousands of girls like her, okay? To tell them they cannot be involved in a girls' sport with other girls is wrong. It's prejudice, okay? It's quick to make a decision, okay? And this smells to me like it's freaking ignorant. It's ignorant. As you see, I'm giving you multiple sides here to this, okay? A young person coming out as transgender and then transitioning, and then a late onset, okay? The bodies of these two people are different, okay? If a trans boy was born girl and he transitioned at the age of 13, okay, then she's not a boy anymore, she's a woman, because she never developed male characteristics, or vice versa. Because those are the properties that cause your body to take on a feminine or male appearance, whether it's in strength, it's in everything. That's the gauge. They didn't explain to you all this. If they wanted real science, they would have. A couple of weeks ago, I made several videos and I praised Ron DeSantis for opening up our state. I was happy that the restrictions were lifted. And he said that the vaccines were personally our choice, whether we wanted to or not. But in the end, we take responsibility for our actions and decisions. But he can't do this on the decision he made this week on saying that trans kids are not going to be permitted to play in girls' sports or girls' teams anymore. That's a punch in the face. It's a punch in the face because we're in 2021 and we have these people running our country who are supposed to be super smart, super intelligent. But no, we don't. We have a bunch of Fred Flintstones running around, bouncing prejudice ideas and notions, unbelievable things that don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And in the process, all he's doing is he's spurring on hatred on society, and this is going to lead to other repercussions. all over again. It's not going to be the end. Now I want to jump on the other side of this. If you're a young trans teen in today to 2021, and you came out maybe 5 years ago, if you were an athlete and if you loved playing certain sports, did you think it was going to be easy being a transgender person in school, whether it's in grade school, junior high, high school, or even college? It's not easy. It wasn't going to be easy. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have transitioned. You have every right to. I did, and you should too. But you surely had to see the obstacles coming out. These things were unfolding years and years ago. Years ago. We should have been fighting for these things right from the get-go. We should have banned it from the get-go, because our opposition, the people who are against us in this, the conservatives, that's what they're doing at government levels. At government levels. I don't think we're going to see a progressive state in Florida. Okay? I think if you want to get involved in those sports, and you're still young enough to go into a sport, in a women's sport, whether in college or junior high or high school, I would go to those states, consider it, depending on how bad you want to go. Go there before they start doing what Desantis is doing, because sometimes states, conservative states, start adopting ideas from those states that's beginning it. And it's already started. It's already started. So this is what the conversation was going to be about today. I'm saddened. I'm saddened because I'm seeing the plight of both sides here. I don't agree with trans. I don't agree with trans men or trans women fighting in the U.S. sport where there's physical contact like this, where you're punching and kicking, because a woman will never be as ferocious as a cisgender man if he wants to fight competitively. You're going to get slaughtered, because most likely you transitioned onset. You were an onset transition, whether you're a girl transition or a boy. That onset is the big difference here. In a woman who transitioned from female to male, the onset in a sport like a kickboxer would actually benefit, because you're going to be more stronger, but you'll never hit that top strength or aggressiveness as a cisgender man. It doesn't happen. And also, a trans woman, if you transition like Jazz did, then you have every right. Every right. I'm not taking sides for Jazz Jennings, but if our government, Ron DeSantis, if his fight is saying that, well, they're stronger than them, they're faster than them, he could be right. If you're in high school and you're starting track at the age of, on your last year, your senior year, you're going to be faster than other women, simply because muscle has memory. Doesn't matter what part of the body, wherever there's muscle, that memory will be restarted again in a more denser muscle than a cisgender. And your bone density, skeletal, does have a muscle, what they call a muscle belly or skeletal muscle. That means that your muscle is strong, it's thick. A cisgender's bones are not thick and dense like boys. I have very thin bones, but still, my forearms are not don't look like other cisgender. There are women with big form, big stocky women, but I do have big bones going on here. It's not like big bone men or big bone women. It's different. It's balanced. But I think you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, this video is running into 20 something minutes here, and I don't want to take it too long. But I think you get the gist of what I'm saying here. I hope that you share this video with people who you know are coming out or who have been out. I hope I resonate something with you on this conversation. Watch that video. Just go to YouTube and punch in Ron DeSantis transgender banning for girls sports, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There was totally disrespect in there for the transgender community. The moms coming up and talking, same thing. It's just not right. The language that they could have used could have been more professional, could have been more respectful. I didn't get that. That's why 2 weeks ago I said I may support Ron DeSantis on some issues, but if he doesn't support trans issues, then I don't support him. It's that simple. That's the end of my video. I hope you guys find something good that you could take out of this. Please hit that like and share. And also the information I gave you on the hormonal changes and the effects and all that stuff, if you find that interesting, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button and and share my videos. Thank you very much. I hope you guys have a nice evening. Remember that every one of these conversations is unscripted, mostly my experiences and some were my opinion. I'm not a medical professional. A lot of common sense here. There's more science here than what they're professing on the comments of Ron DeSantis' speech on YouTube. You guys have a nice day.